So today in the gospel, we read in the Gospel of Matthew about an extraordinary miracle of our Lord Jesus Christ. He took 7 loaves and a few fish and made enough food to feed 4,000 people, or 7,000 people. You've heard the other story where he took 5 loaves and 2 fish and fed 5,000 people, not counting women and children. And so the curious man wants to know, okay, well, how many of these miracles were there? 1 or 2? Because in the Gospels, sometimes they tell the same story, but they leave out certain details, put other details in. The common understanding of exegetes today, those are the people who study the Scriptures, there were 2 different miraculous multiplication of the loaves, and about 5 miles from each other. The first one, which we read in the Gospel of St. John, where he fed the 5,000, not counting women and children, so I think it was like 20 or 30,000, with 5 loaves and 2 fishes, was near the Mount of the Beatitudes, near Capharnaum, on the north side of the Sea of Galilee. But to the northeast, about 5 miles away, they had this other one, right? And it's quite extraordinary. We can learn a lot from this. And I kind of think, man, if our Lord is still alive today, he'd be great in the fast food business. He'd have a chain, right? One here, one there, one there. But no, he left that up to us to do those things. So first thing to be aware, Jesus is aware of our needs, our spiritual needs and our physical needs. They're hungry. They've been out here for 3 days. Second, he relies on our cooperation. And it doesn't have to be a whole lot. So in the miraculous multiplication of loaves of the 5 loaves and 2 fish, it was a boy who gave them the 5 loaves and 2 fish. He was a courageous boy. We don't know his name, but he figured out the situation. Jesus needs my help. I'm only a boy, but I've got 5 loaves and 2 fish. My mom sent me to the grocery store. I'm imagining this. I think it's reasonable. And this is for the family for today, but they need it more, and our family's generous, and she'll understand. You know, later he comes back at the end of the day with 12 apostles carrying 12 baskets of food, and his mother probably said to him, Solomon, where have you been? I've been with Jesus. Who are those guys? Those are the apostles. And she said, well, what are apostles? I don't know, but that's what they are. They're the apostles. And where did you get all that food? Well, you sent me to the store. Yeah, but where did you get all the food? Well, it was a miracle. And you see, when we take that little risk to do something for God, we risk our own convenience and comfort, and sometimes we risk our own family's comfort and convenience. But God always rewards us in many, many different ways. Now think of the apostles. Right there they were. They've been out there for 3 days. They're tired. They're hungry. They're thirsty. And Jesus breaks the loaves and fishes, puts them in the baskets, and he says, pass them out. My imagination tells me that when our Lord divided the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, or the 4 loaves and the 5 fish, whatever it was, that when they looked in the basket, it looked like a ridiculous small amount of food. Like, are you kidding me? This is not going to last. But as long as they cooperated, as long as they put their hand in the basket to give something to people, there was something to give. And they look down there, well, there's something left, right? And they pass it out, and man, it's not going out. I don't think it was a huge basket. They couldn't carry that. And you see, that goes on in our life every day when we gamble about how we give the little we have to God, and he multiplies it. He multiplies our time. He multiplies our energy if we will give it to him in the first place. As long as they made an effort, there was something to give. And so Jesus relies on our cooperation to carry out the miracles of mercy today for so many people. That's why I think once we get to heaven, I hope we all have plenty of time with our Lord to ask him a lot of questions, kind of fill in the details. Like, how did you do that? Who was that kid? Where did they go after that? Did you serve dessert? Could you do that again? I mean, there's so many questions we could ask. What's the point? God is all powerful. He can take the little we give him and multiply it thousands of times over.